Well, we thought we were just about done, but in this episode we find ourselves back in California working on problems that a so-called specialist had brought about after a disastrous attempt to wire up a couple of backlights. We'll also be visiting the iconic city of San Francisco, rounded off with a trip to Hollywood's version of Cars and Coffee, the Friday Classic Car Meet at Big Bob's Diner in Toluca Lake, where proud Dan is exhibiting his beloved 190 SL. And after the last visit's debacle, I've decided to bite the bullet, invest in 2 brand new backlights, and jump in at the deep end. So, as always, let's get stuck in. So, remember last time I was here, we had a bit of a nightmare where I put the car into a Mercedes electronics specialist and it came back and none of these rear lights were working. I got it back off them, none of the indicators were working. I think the indicator was working on one side but nothing else was working. Well, it's taken me about a day of messing about. And all this wiring, as you can see, you can hardly make out the colours. It's gone brittle. I've tried with the Mercedes Classic sensor to see if any of the wiring was available or the loom, but it no longer is, unfortunately. So I bit the bullet. I replaced these, which were an absolute joke. I mean, they've seen better days. Looks like somebody's pop riveted this top bit on, or it actually looks like an earlier light than this car should have. But as you can see, we've got both the back lights working. I've just figured out why the left indicator wasn't working, because that took a bit of messing around. And I'll just show you here. The electrician had put these 2 wires the wrong way round. I just switched them about. It took me a while to figure it out, but I switched them about and then you could see the indicators work. And on the left side where it wasn't working, voila. So I'm really pleased about that, considering I'm not an electrician. I think I've done a far better job than the so-called specialist did up the road. But yeah, if you just check in the back whether the indicators are working. Now look, I'm no electrician. I don't even understand the basics. So for me to get these working and in some semblance of order is a huge milestone. You know, for all I know, this might not even be in the right order. But to have lights working, reverse lights and indicators all round, to me, that's a huge win. Get in. Now next, I want to replace this dual fuse box in the engine bay, which has long since seen better days. Full of gunge and propped up by bits of old rubber, this can't possibly be doing its job. You know, I'll be honest, I don't even know what this is meant to do, but when I read up on it, it just said it was extra protection for electrical equipment, and I don't want any more electrical gremlins in this car.
So it's out with the old and in with the new. Remember this from last time?
The speedometer's suddenly not working properly. That could, you know, purely be down to the age of the car, and sometimes when you start using them after a long layup, then they start playing up, they dry out inside.
Now first up, I'm going to run a test just to make sure it's not the speedo at fault. So using an Allen key in a drill, I'm going to run it anti-clockwise in the gear just to see. Well, there's nothing wrong with this. So I suspect the speed sensor provided in the electric power steering kit, which firms up the steering wheel at higher speeds. Now these can be tricky and oversensitive, and considering they're not really compulsory and personal preference, I've decided to remove it. And to finish the job, I've also decided to make this protective board to help cover the motor and ECU and prevent people's feet from catching any hanging wiring from underneath. Well, that looks much better. Now, owner Dan wasn't happy with the boot lock. You remember in a previous episode I replaced the upper barrel with the handle, but the mechanism itself was original. You see, originally he said it was spring loaded and you were able to click the boot shut or slam it. So, for the princely sum of $450, the job was completed. Would you have bothered? Well, I think personally I would have lived with this one myself. But it's his car, his prerogative. And it did look nice and shiny. And along with a nice original boot rubber, it did shut rather well. So moving on to this annoying leaking brake reservoir.
Okay, so as you can see, I've just removed the brake reservoir. You remember a year ago maybe, I bought a brand new chrome reservoir because the other one was getting old and rusty and looked a bit disheveled. It was getting little pinholes and it was, anyway, it needed replacing. But what I didn't realise at the time, it should have come as a kit with a new one of these, and this has got all the seals in. This goes onto your pipe that goes down to your brake master cylinder, and it's just been weeping out of the bottom. Now, even though, okay, I used the old one because I didn't realise they came as a kit. I've only just realised that in the last few days. Anyway, being in touch, they sent me one of these. So, yeah, now I'm down to replacing it. You see, what was happening, it was weeping out of the bottom, down the pipe onto the brake master cylinder. And I know, if you remember quite a few episodes ago, I removed the plate underneath the floor pan. And it's got like a gully with a little split in it. So it was actually designed to let brake fluid drip through, but I don't think it was meant to drip through from the reservoir. I think it was the master cylinder itself that has a little bit of weeping now and again, so that's the way it was designed. And anyway, so I'm just rectifying all this. I've removed everything. I'm going to clean it all out. I'm going to replace it with this and new seals and nip it down properly, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we won't have that leaking brake fluid problem, which isn't ideal, and it looks unsightly. And if you see here as well, it's gone onto the bulkhead. It's been weeping along, dripping along this bracket here that holds the brake reservoir on, and it's going onto the bulkhead, and it's just spread, and it's just removing all the paint, so it's unsightly. And it's quite dangerous as well, because it's flammable brake fluid, and especially with all the heat in here, you just can't be too careful. So anyway, crack on.
Next up, the rear suspension. Now, I know I've replaced the top hats on the springs and also fitted brand new shock absorbers, but the problem I'm having is whenever I go over a bump, I hear this annoying clonk coming from the right hand side. So, further investigation. And looking at this exhaust, this has definitely seen better days. Even though it looked brand new when I first got the car back on the road, there's a hole here. There's a nice little hole there. And on the front box, exactly the same. A hole here and leaking from the joint at the back just here. So sometime in the future, this is going to require a whole new set of hangers and a brand new system front to back. But as regards to suspension, I'm going to fit a new rubber at the front of the trail arm. And hopefully this will sort the problem. If it doesn't, there's only one thing it could be. And that's the UJ at the rear of the prop shaft. A much more involved undertaking. Oof, well that looks like the 70-year-old original. And whilst you're doing this, just check this bottom plate is properly secured in place and in the right configuration to the spring at the bottom. Tricky, I know, but this is well worthwhile doing, and peace of mind. And another thing that so-called Mercedes specialist garage messed up were my carburetors. You know, I'd spent days getting these right and the car was running spot on. Why have people got to mess with little adjustments and put the fingers where they need not be? Annoying. So, start again from the bottom. Next, I decided to take a short trip to the legendary city of San Francisco, where movies such as Mrs. Doubtfire, Clint Eastwood's Dirty Harry, Hitchcock's Vertigo, and where that memorable car chase of Steve McQueen's Frank Bullitt had taken place through its hilly streets nearly 60 years ago. You see, my sole intention was to visit Roger Peng at City Racer, the company that supplied the electronic power steering for the 190 SL. But instead of American muscle cars, I landed bang in the middle of Bastille Day, celebrating everything French. And just when I thought I was getting a rest from classic cars, well, you guessed it, I happened upon this Renault Caravelle. And this incredible Citroen Safari.
Bitchin' Rides,
Yeah.
right? He came with a film crew and they filmed my car. I got about 20 seconds on his
Yeah.
show. Then I went to this one in the rain in Lincoln Hills. It was best of the best, 100 classics. I got invited and took my class. And I met this guy, right? Everybody's run into him at one time or another.
Jay.
That was at the San Marino Motor Show. And then this was from Concours by the Sea, which was the boulevard, and they don't do that anymore. That one closed up. And I met this guy. You know that guy?
Chip Foose.
Chip Foose, yep. So Chip came over to my car. I got an award for that show also. There's Mr. Foose in my car, right? And that's the before.
This is the after.
Yeah, that's the after. I had two cars originally, that one and this one. And I brought them from Oakland to my house outside Sacramento, and two cars became one. So I tore this one apart and chopped it up and put all the parts into this car. And so
It's almost a shame because of the rarity.
yeah, so this taillight,
To lose one, isn't
that
it?
taillight there, just restored.
Yeah, it's just a shame that one had to be sacrificed.
Yeah.
You couldn't do
But
both of them.
It was just such a rusted out Hulk. So I took the engine out of it and stuff. So this is what it looked like when I was working on it. It was just a mess. So bit by bit, I brought it all back. There's the engine bay on this car. I had some body work done on it. This guy here's a really interesting fabricator. He fabricated the first Duesenberg.
Wow. Although I've been here before, I've never really had the time to explore or appreciate its beauty. I mean, look at this. An incredible oasis designed to look like Roman or Greek ruins, right in the heart of the city. And look at this, an annual 3-legged dog picnic. Only in America.
An event celebrating the unique lives of 3-legged and other handy-capable dogs and their families. So thank you all for coming and being a part of this very special event.
This is our 16th annual picnic.
I then decided to hop over the iconic Golden Gate Bridge to the tiny town of Sausalito, where the album Rumours was recorded back in the 1970s by legendary group Fleetwood Mac. So a lovely couple of days is capped off by the view of the historic and infamous prison of Alcatraz. But listen, I need to get back over because I've got a date with Big Bob's Diner with Dan and his 190 SL. I leave my heart in San Francisco. And whilst I leave Dan guarding his car and fending off a long queue of admirers, I think I'll sneak off and get a milkshake. And then I'm going to have a good look round, see what cars are about, and I might even find somebody to talk to. Later, I bump into a really interesting guy called Jimmy.
We've just been discussing, it's like a universal language, isn't it? It's
It
the
is,
same
absolutely.
everywhere when you look around you. Whatever country you go to, whether it's just being over to Italy, and
Oh, that must have been nice.
well,
that must have been
the
something.
Mille Miglia was happening.
Oh, you
And it
did
was
that? Oh, how was that?
Just by
How'd you
chance. I just arrived that day and I realised it was going on up the road to start,
Oh,
so
wow.
I had to go and film a little bit, and it went down really well. But it's like a universal language, isn't it? We
It
all
is,
we all
it is.
think the same, we all feel the same. It's like
It's-
it brings us all together.
That's
It's
right. It's
fantastic.
common ground. There's no doubt about it.
What
It's
we
a
what
lot
we
of
saying
fun.
about stock cars before?
Well, a lot of these cars are modified. You know, you have
Yeah.
the high boy over there and everything. But sometimes you see cars that, you know, the paint is a little chipped or whatever, has provenance. You know, I forgot the word. What do they claim?
Patina.
Patina. Thank you. That's a nice word for it. And there's a fellow that it's too bad he's not here. There are only, I think, I think 11, if that, big block real Cobras.
Cobras, yeah.
Hickory
I've
Cobra.
seen the guy. I've seen the guy.
That's
Last time I was here a few months ago.
That's Anthony.
Has he sold it yet? Because he got
I think
offered
he's-
$3 million for it,
Oh
didn't he?
yeah. But yeah, bone stock cars are unique. But a lot of guys like to do resto mods and, you know, really trick them out and everything. You know.
You know what I noticed though? Maybe 20 years ago, all the cars in the States, or most of them, 2/3 of them on the road, were huge wagons like this, weren't they?
Absolutely.
You know, the big caddies and the Buicks, and
Oh yeah.
now
you know, you see one going down the road and everyone like gets the phones out because it's like they're not seeing
They're
anymore.
checking. No. It's an end of an. It's really an end of an era.
It is, it's sad.
And you know, I mean, you don't park a car like that. You dock it. It's a land yacht. You know, it's really cool
rockets,
stuff.
isn't it?
You know? Yeah, it's just incredible. But a lot of these cars just right now. You know, this is an interesting car over here. That Trans Am is actually a new Camaro, but they have a body kit that make it look like a Trans Am. And because I knew it had a higher stance, and I go, man, I don't remember, a Trans Am, looking like that.
So what were you saying about your dad? Your dad used to have a Cadillac, did you say?
Oh, well, that's a cool story. The 1964 Sonny Liston fight, and this is when he fought Cassius Clay before it became Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
And anyway, make a long story short, all the guys on the job, my dad was in the construction field, they're saying, oh, Sonny Liston's going to beat him, this and that. So my father figured, I'm going to take the other side of these bets. Yeah. Well, that was in April of '64. By June of '64, we had a brand new '64 Cadillac.
That was a classic fight. I'm into me boxing.
Oh yeah. Boxed in the military when I was in the Army. Yeah, you can't look at my face, can you tell? But
I can't actually.
Yeah, I'm telling you, can.
I didn't see the other guy though, did I?
Well, I had to box the fellow who. You remember the commanding general who built the wall for Trump? Well, that's Lieutenant General Todd Semonite. Well, we're classmates at the academy, and we both had thick glasses, so you can't box with glasses. So I had to take and we both boxed each other and beat the hell out of each other.
I was going to say, I thought you were going to say we missed each other the whole fight.
Oh no! We connected, and oh Christ, that was a 3-minute war in that damn thing,
Yeah.
But all different things. But a lot of the cars now, you see that red Chevy over there.
Yeah.
That gentleman's in his 90s, I believe, and he bought that car brand new. Wow. So, there's a lot of stories, there's a lot of emotions with these. I mean, they're members of people's families, Like my father had a 51 or 50 fastback Pontiac.
Yeah.
And if you look at the interior of the car, the grade over the radio speaker looked like a steering wheel.
Yeah.
When I was a little kid, my father's driving the car, I would stand on the transmission hump, I go, hey, Pop, look at me, I'm driving, And these cars just bring back so many terrific memories, and they're your friends. I mean, they really are,
Yeah.
I've got a car show, and these guys, kind of big guys, later I found out they were Teamsters from Hollywood here, and they were always looking for certain cars. So one time one of the guys said, we're looking for a muscle car, but it can't be a run-of-the-mill muscle car. So I'm just thinking for a second. I go, how about a Mercury Cyclone? That's an oddball muscle car.
Yeah.
Oh man, geez, I wish we had that, I said, well, you see that guy over there with the cowboy hat? His name's Rand. He has an orange one. Oh yeah, that'd be perfect. So I go there. Well, bottom line, it was for a Wrangler's jeans commercial with Darrell Waltrip. It was a multi-branded commercial up in Flagstaff, Arizona. My buddy got $4,300, and I got a hamburger.
So, did you used to supply for films or?
Well, no, music videos. I specialize in music videos and commercials. We did projects with Jennifer Lopez, Jay-Z, Little Kim, Snoop Dogg, Master P, Missy Elliott, and go on and on.
You stop name dropping?
Yeah. Well, no, you're asking me who I'm working with.
No, absolutely.
And I'm almost ashamed to say this, but we were on a shoot in downtown Los Angeles, one of the projects, and it was for Snoop Dogg. It was hour 19, we were on set. No, I don't care if you're young, you get a little punchy. And somebody said to me, you gotta go over to the star, who was Snoop Dogg. Well, as I'm walking over to him, I forgot his name. And so I walk over to him, and I go, excuse me, I go, Mr. Doggy Dog. And so Snoop's sitting crouched down like this. And so, it's disrespectful, but he could see it was an honest mistake. And he says, just call me Snoop, man. And we shook hands.
That's nice.
And he was the nicest guy in the world, and he, very, very understanding, to say the least. But we did a lot of projects, and it was a lot of fun, and
some great stuff. You should write a book.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Sounds like a great book, that.
Yeah, well, it's just fun stuff.
Yeah.
But you meet a lot of interesting people, to say the least.
I think, we were talking about this before. I think a lot of the Europeans came over and took most of the classic cars from here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
you know,
we took them
a
all back
few.
to Europe and sold them, and
Oh yeah.
you know,
a
you
few
don't
of
see
them,
as many. I mean, this is a great turnout, but you don't really see as many as you used to, say, 25, 30 years ago.
Well, you know, it's also taste and preferences, because different cars, you know, come into vogue because you're dealing with different generations and they have different tastes and preferences. Like, you know, brass cars were big, you know, many years ago, and now, you know, the market is still there, but you don't have many participants.
Yeah.
You know, just like the 50 cars, you mark my words, another 10, 15 years from now, that will change also, and just different things.
Well, it's getting dark anyway, Jimmy. I think
It
it's
sure
time
is,
to
yeah.
move on, isn't
I
it?
hope we're coming through. You know? Well, geez,
Right.
once again, it was just terrific talking to you, and
Nice
I
one.
hope that helps your channel.
Top man.
Take good care.
Check it out.
I really will. Thank you for renting it out for me. Appreciate
Pleasure.
it. Bye-bye now.
Thank you for watching this episode of Classic Obsession. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe. And see you all next time.